I consider myself part of a lineage of artists that like starts with like indigenous artists in the region I grew up in and like goes to like all the way to like Chicano muralists in the 70s and 80s, and then goes to like party planners for quinceañeras and like craftspeople, welders, like my family. I never studied painting really in school. I took maybe like a couple of painting classes, and it took me a good 5 years to learn how to paint, basically. Before this, I was making identity work that was based around being Mexican American and part indigenous. That work was great. I got pretty good at it, and it got pretty easy. So I think at that point, it was like time to kind of like phase out of it and also like start something that was more challenging. And so I decided to kind of like start making formalist work and also painting, because I was making mostly sculpture. I would get here in the morning in this, I guess, early fall, and go out in the garden and draw for like an hour or two every day. And so like drawings like this would like happen just from like focusing on like a little tiny piece of the garden, or like taking different elements from the garden. Starting with drawings that could then progress into collages, and could then get scaled up into paper paintings, and then could go in a direction of like being a mural or being like a painting on a panel, or like now like these plexiglass works. Bethany showed me the machine. It was like, oh my God, like I can just like make collages out of this, basically. So it was like a pretty like natural kind of pivot to like this new technology or material or whatever that like I never would have done if I wasn't here. It's nice. They have this nice relationship to other things that I think about, like cheap retail objects and, you know, like plastic, like table covers or like menus, or like just very kind of like tactile kind of cheap objects that I like, that are like kind of like speak a language of like low design that I'm really into, you know, or what would be considered low design. It's like got colors that are specific to where I grew up, which was the Southwest and the north of Mexico. So bright colors, colors that maybe have been like racialized in some instances, like that have been placed into a hierarchy of taste that places them kind of like lower on that hierarchy. And so for me, these works are kind of an opportunity to bring that color language into a place of like high art, I guess you could call it. But for me, they're also colors that I like love and that I grew up with, and you know, that like make me feel joy. These colors can be an expression of your heritage or a place, and can also be a way to kind of create a universe around yourself that keeps you safe and makes you feel at home, right? So I think that there's something really powerful about that.